Good morning, students. In the previous class, we discussed about air pollution, the causes of air pollution, about acid rain and effect of acid rain on soil and in water bodies. In today's class, we are studying about greenhouse effect. So now let us study about greenhouse effect. We know that Earth is covered by a layer of air. The layer of air is called, above the Earth's surface is called atmosphere. And we know that atmosphere is air is a mixture of two major gases, nitrogen and oxygen. And this atmospheric air allows the passage of sunlight through it. So sunlight reaches the Earth's surface by passing through atmospheric air. And this sunlight is a mixture of different radiations such as UV, visible, infrared, microwaves, X-rays, etc. Among these radiations, infrared radiations are highly energetic, and all these radiations are reflected back from the Earth to the upper atmosphere if the air is not polluted. So if the air is not polluted, then the atmospheric air allows the escape of all the radiations from the Earth's surface to the upper atmosphere. Suppose the air is polluted. Air is polluted meaning it contains other gases like water vapor, oxides of nitrogen, chlorofluorocarbons and oxides of nitrogen. These are the impurities present in atmospheric air. So they are also gaseous in nature and occur along with atmospheric air. If these impurities are present in air, these impurities, sunlight passes through the atmospheric air and reaches the Earth's surface, and we know that sunlight is a mixture of different radiations. These radiations are highly energetic. Then if the air is polluted, this polluted air will not allow the highly energetic infrared radiations to escape from the Earth's surface. So if the air is polluted, this polluted air will not allow the energetic radiations to leave from the Earth's surface. Hence, these energetic radiations will pass through all the objects on the surface of Earth, and as a result, the temperature on the Earth's surface increases. So the temperature of the Earth's surface increases due to the passage of highly energetic infrared radiation. And these radiations will not escape from the Earth's surface because the air is polluted due to the presence of oxides of nitrogen, chlorofluorocarbons, then water vapor, methane, etc. As a result, the global temperature increases. So the warming up of Earth's surface due to the presence of impurities is called global warming, and the effect is called global warming effect. So this global warming is produced by certain gases. These gases responsible for global warming are called greenhouse gases. The greenhouse gases are mainly methane, oxides of nitrogen, chlorofluorocarbons, then excess carbon dioxide and water vapor. We know that air contains 0.03 to 0.04% carbon dioxide. If the level of carbon dioxide in air exceeds 0.04%, that also is responsible for greenhouse effect. So name the gases which are responsible for greenhouse effect: methane, chlorofluorocarbons, oxides of nitrogen, excess carbon dioxide and water vapor. These are produced in the atmospheric air due to the activities, human activities, and also by certain natural processes. So the greenhouse gases are produced from natural processes and also from certain man-made processes. So one of the greenhouse gas is carbon dioxide, which is naturally produced during respiration and also at the time of decay of plants and animals. Then artificial means by which carbon dioxide is liberated is during burning of fossil fuels, and also from industries. Industries liberate carbon dioxide. Then exhaust from automobiles and also burning of natural gas. Natural gas is methane, burning of methane produce carbon dioxide. So these are the different sources by which carbon dioxide is liberated to the atmosphere by artificial processes or man-made processes. Another greenhouse gas is methane. Methane is a hydrocarbon with the molecular formula CH4. What are hydrocarbons? Hydrocarbons are compounds containing carbon and hydrogen only. This hydrocarbon methane is produced naturally by the decay of plants and animals. So by the action of bacteria on dead plants and animals produce methane. Then coal mines liberate methane. So there are different natural sources by which methane is liberated to the atmosphere. Then certain human activities or man-made processes will also liberate methane. One is agricultural activities. Usage of certain fertilizers, insecticides, etc. liberate methane to the atmosphere. Certain chemical processes liberate methane to the atmosphere. So methane is liberated from the earth due to certain human processes and also by natural processes. So methane is a greenhouse gas which is also responsible for global rise in temperature. Another greenhouse gas is oxides of nitrogen. Mainly nitrous oxide, N2O, is responsible for greenhouse effect. And naturally, nitrous oxide or this N2O is liberated by certain microorganisms in soil. So microorganisms in soil release oxides of nitrogen, mainly nitrous oxide, to the atmosphere. Then man-made processes by which nitrous oxide or oxides of nitrogen are liberated to the atmosphere are: number one is automobile exhaust. Internal combustion engine liberate oxides of nitrogen to the atmosphere.
And some agricultural activities like usage of nitrogenous fertilizers liberate nitrous oxide to the atmosphere or oxides of nitrogen to the atmosphere. So oxides of nitrogen are also responsible for greenhouse effect, mainly nitrous oxide.
Next component responsible for greenhouse effect is water vapor. Water vapor is naturally produced at the time of transpiration and evaporation. So during transpiration and evaporation, moisture or water vapor is liberated to the atmosphere. Hence, the content of water vapor in the atmosphere increases. That also causes global warming. Another component which is responsible for greenhouse is chlorofluorocarbons. Chlorofluorocarbons are compounds containing chlorine, fluorine and carbon. Formula CFCl3. Chlorofluorocarbon. This compound is also responsible for greenhouse, and chlorofluorocarbons are liberated from certain chemicals which are used in dry cleaning. Then certain liquids used as coolants liberate chlorofluorocarbons. Then air conditioners produces chlorofluorocarbons, or they liberate the chlorofluorocarbons to the atmosphere. There are some methods to reduce the production of greenhouse gases. So they are by selecting fuels or by using other fuels like CNG. CNG is compressed natural gas. Then LNG is liquefied natural gas and LPG is liquefied petroleum gas. So instead of burning fossil fuels, we can use compressed natural gas, liquefied natural gas or LPG. They produce limited amount of greenhouse gases to the atmosphere. Then by using other forms of energy, by selecting other forms of energy like wind energy, solar energy and hydropower, by selecting these forms of energy, we can reduce the production of greenhouse gases. Now we are going to study about the use of ozone in the atmosphere. Ozone has the molecular formula O3 and it is present in stratosphere. Stratosphere. And what is the use of ozone? The use of ozone in the atmosphere is it prevents the passage of harmful UV light to Earth. Because UV light is harmful, it affects all living beings. Hence, what is the use of ozone? Ozone in the stratosphere prevent the passage of UV light from sun to the atmosphere. And now we are going to discuss about the formation of ozone in the atmosphere. Ozone is formed from oxygen molecule in the atmosphere. So, on passing UV light, energetic ultraviolet radiation through the atmosphere, what happens is a molecule of oxygen is broken down into two atoms of oxygen. A molecule of oxygen is broken down into two atoms of oxygen by the passage of UV light. The process is a process of dissociation of oxygen molecule into oxygen atom by the passage of light is called photolysis. Photo meaning light, lysis meaning breaking. Photolysis or photodissociation. So define photolysis or photodissociation. A molecule is broken down into simpler substances by the passage of light is called photolysis or photodissociation. Here, in this case, when on the passage of UV light, oxygen in the atmosphere is broken down into two atoms of oxygen. This process is called photolysis or photodissociation. Hence, two atoms of oxygen are formed, and we know that atom is unstable due to unstable electronic configuration. Hence, these oxygen atoms attack another molecule of oxygen in the atmosphere. So, an oxygen atom attack another oxygen molecule in the atmosphere to form O3. Hence, oxygen is converted into ozone in the atmosphere. And if the air is unpolluted or if the air contains minimum pollution, ozone in the atmosphere is broken down to form oxygen molecule and an atom of oxygen. So, if the air contains minimum impurities, ozone molecule in the presence of UV light dissociate to form oxygen molecule and an atom of oxygen. An atom of oxygen is unstable. It attacks another oxygen molecule and to form two atoms of oxygen, 2O2. So, ozone molecule dissociated to form oxygen molecule which is stable and one oxygen atom is formed which is unstable due to unstable electronic configuration. This oxygen atom attack a molecule of ozone again, and this ozone is broken down to form how many molecules of oxygen? Two molecules of oxygen. And this process takes place only if air contains minimum impurities. So when the concentration or the amount of ozone in the atmosphere increases, naturally ozone is converted back to oxygen. And if the oxygen level increases, oxygen is turned or converted back to ozone. So there is a cycle between ozone and oxygen. So conversion of ozone back to oxygen, oxygen back to ozone. This happens only when atmosphere contains minimum impurities, and the balance is called between ozone and oxygen is called ozone-oxygen cycle. And this balance is not maintained, or this balance is disturbed by certain chemicals in the atmosphere or pollutants in the atmosphere such as chlorofluorocarbons. So, ozone-oxygen cycle or that balance between oxygen and ozone is disturbed by certain chemicals. These chemicals are chlorofluorocarbons, and they deplete ozone in the atmosphere. So, chlorofluorocarbons deplete ozone molecule in the atmosphere, and the process is called ozone depletion. So, the gases which are responsible for ozone depletion are mainly chlorofluorocarbons. And now we know that chlorofluorocarbons are responsible for ozone depletion. So this is the molecular formula of CFC, CFCl3. CFCl3. In the presence of UV light, chlorofluorocarbon CFCl3 dissociate and produce chlorine atom. This chlorine atom is called radical, chlorine radical. So from these chlorofluorocarbons, many radicals are produced. These radicals are unstable. The chlorine radicals, many radicals are produced from chlorofluorocarbons. These radicals are highly unstable, therefore highly reactive and attack ozone molecule in the atmosphere. These radicals attack ozone molecule in the atmosphere. Ozone has the molecular formula O3. O3 is attacked by chlorine atom, not chlorine molecule. Chlorine atom is unstable, so chlorine atom attack ozone molecule and form another compound, ClO plus oxygen. So ozone is depleted or dissociated and produce oxygen, and another free radical is produced. These free radicals again attack ozone molecule. So many free radicals or atoms are produced from chlorofluorocarbons, and it's a chain reaction, and these chlorofluorocarbons can attack millions of ozone molecules at a time. Hence, ozone molecule is dissociated to oxygen. As a result, the concentration of ozone in the atmosphere decreases and it produces ozone holes. So the chlorofluorocarbons are responsible for ozone depletion, and due to the lack of ozone in the atmosphere, atmospheric air allow the passage of more UV light on Earth, and this UV light affect all living beings. So these are the two equations by which the chlorofluorocarbons attack ozone molecule, and ozone molecule is changed to oxygen molecule. So by heart these two equations. So the concentration of ozone in the atmosphere decreases and causes the formation of ozone holes. And this effect or ozone depletion can be reduced by reducing the production of chlorofluorocarbons. So nowadays chlorofluorocarbons are replaced by hydrochlorofluorocarbons.